Hi guys, it's me Yawar. I'm again here to help you prepare for your exams a little bit better. And today I've taken on the duty to help you understand your papers 3 and paper 4 structure a little bit better. Now, we know that it's been a big change in your syllabus. You used to be one paper 3, now there are two different papers, paper 3 and paper 4. And there might be some questions as to why the two papers, what do we have to prepare for? Are there two different set of contents for the two papers? So those are common questions and you might be facing them and they might be creating some confusions for you guys. So I'm gonna break down how paper 3 and paper 4 are different and somewhat similar to what you used to prepare for previously up until last year. So our discussion starts with actually a little story. And story was a time when back in 2022, up until then, the paper 3 was a 100-mark paper. You would be sitting there for 3 hours, and of course, taking a quick nap would be advised. But 3 hours for 6 questions is tiring, it's exhausting. There's so much that you have to write, and you just want to get out of there. So it was quite tough. But now CI realized that, and they had broken it down into two different papers, paper 3 and 4. Previously, when we did have one paper 3, it was divided into two parts, section A and section. And for both the sections, of course, there would be one single case study, which would be about 3 to 4 pages long, easy. Now, section A used to have 5 questions in. And the first question would be the only easy part of this exam. The 10-mark question, and this is where you're given 2 pages to write your answer. Then it will be followed by an 18-mark question, then a 16-mark question, then another 18, and then another 16-mark question. And your 10-mark question was a simple essay. But your 18 marks were calculation and essay along with it. So you would need, and these used to be longer calculations, 8 marks, sometimes 10 marks as well. So you would really test it on all the little technical details. And then 16 marks were also essay questions. And in total for your essay questions, you would be expected to write about 2.5 pages. That's the space you were provided. Same for these essay answers, 2 for this one. So there was plenty of writing to do. And this would take you anywhere between 2 hours 15 minutes to 2 hours 30 minutes. And that's pretty much all of the time. And then you have your section B as well to, of course, answer the questions in there as well. So it was a big challenge getting through section A. And you will be tested across all 5 units. There are 5 questions. They would make sure that they ask you at least one question from all of those units. So nothing could be left to chance. You had to prepare for everything. Then once you were done with section A, then came actually the more difficult part of your paper, which was section B. And this is where at least they were nice enough to give you some choice. They would do 20-mark questions, but you would only have to dealt one. Okay, so there was choice in that. But this one question, first you would be given 4 pages to write your answer. And the content was so diverse that, in my honest opinion, 4 pages was less. The only thing if you had more time, you could write a 5-page answer if you wanted to. And that's where I think they were really testing how good you were at managing your time towards the end. So that's the daunting task that you had at hand up until last year. But this year, I strongly believe that they have made the exams a lot easier for the A2 students to attempt. They're more like, especially paper 3, they're more like AS than they are more like the A2 exam paper 4. So what I want to help you understand is that it's not so tough anymore. It's actually in your favor now the way the new syllabus has been designed, especially the way the new paper 3 looks. So with the new and transformed paper 3, you have now just the one section. This is the new 2023 version. This is what you are preparing. And there will be 5 questions in your paper 3. Now this paper 3 is exactly like the section A of paper 3 from last year. So you'll be tested across all 5 units, of course. But this time around, there'd be 2 8-mark questions to start you off. And the thing about these 8-mark questions is that, of course, you'll be given just 1 page for you to write the answer. That means You don't have to be very descriptive, but you also have to be selective in what are the more important points to talk about. And when you're writing your answers, you only need to talk about the knowledge, application, and the analysis part of your answer. Now, what does that mean? Knowledge is the concept that's being tested in the question, right? So you will look at the question, you'll see one concept that you've seen in your course, and it's just staring you in your face. Organizational structure, investment appraisal, stakeholder growth. So whatever the most fundamental concept is in the exam, just focus on that for that answer. As long as you talk about those things, you will get your marks for knowledge. Then comes application. Application is look at the concept and see where it's being discussed in the case study. And wherever you see any hint of that concept, for example, if there's a concept of organizational structure, then whenever you see delegation, you see span of control, you see hierarchical structures, you make a note of that. I got to talk about these points and see what kind of problems these are creating in the case study. So if you spot the right problems according to the concept, then you're hitting the application marks as well. So knowledge and application is the right concept and where is that concept discussed in the case study, the problems that is creating for the business. Then comes the analysis part. Now, what is the impact of that concept on the kid? Is it a positive impact? Are they benefiting from it? Is it limiting them? Is it a negative impact? So just talking about the positive and the negative impact on the business is what is analysis. The best part is there is no evaluation for your 8-mark question. So you don't need to come up with a flip argument, something to counter your own point of view, something that provides support or resistance to your argument. So those things are not regarding 8-mark questions. So this makes it very much like a paper 2, part C, for example, from your AS paper 2, where 8 marks, very direct, and you go straight into the question itself. You don't beat about the bush. There's no need to define things in detail. There is no great value in that. Talk about the concept, talk about the problem, provide the impact, and simply move on. So very, very direct. And there's 2 of those questions. So this should really give you a good start in your paper. Then you will see 2 questions, questions 3 and 4, where these are each 16 marks. And they will have calculation plus an essay with it. Calculation and an essay. But once again, they limit the space that you're given to write your essays. Here you're given a page and a half. Same for this one. So again, you don't have to write about everything that you find in there. Be choosy, be selective, be sure about the right points to talk about, and only talk about them in more detail. Instead of filling in all the points, just hoping that some will hit the point, make sure that you talk about few and you're talking them in more detail. Now, how are these 2 questions, these 2 essay questions different from your question 1 and 2? In this one, you need knowledge, application, analysis, as well as evaluate. So you need to provide a critical thought. You need to provide recommendations. Think, will this work? Will it not work? What does it need to work? What is stopping this from working out? So those are the points that you need to provide in your evaluation. And then the last one is a simple essay question. And this is again a 12-mark essay question. And this is exactly the same as the questions from question 3 and 4. So knowledge, application, analysis, evaluation, those things remain the same. In 3, 4, and 5, there is no evaluation needed in question 1 and 2. So as you can see from its brother from last year, there is less to write, there are fewer marks, and of course, you're also given a smaller case study to work with. It used to be at least 4 to 5 pages, now maybe 2.5, 3 pages, less content, less to discuss, less to write. So paper 3 has become, I think, a lot like paper 2, then it looks like paper 4. On that topic, your paper 4, which is the second part of your 2023 exam. This is where you will be asked to answer 2 questions. And for this one, there will be a separate case study, of course. Paper 3 has a different case study, paper 4 has a different case study. And in this one, the 2 questions, the first one will test you on your knowledge on the 4 units from marketing, operations, finance, and HR. They will test you on the strategy part of these units. So if you notice in your syllabus, you will see that the last chapter in all of these units is called strategy. HR strategy, finance strategy, operations strategy, and finance strategy. So the topics in, for example, HR, topics such as flexibility, contracts, MBO, employee appraisal, soft and hard HRM, those are things that you should expect to see in the first question of Unit 4. But of course, the only way to know that strategy is to know the entire unit. So don't just bank on doing those chapters. Give the other chapters a read as well before you finally give a very good detail and get a very good understanding of what the strategy part holds. Then the second question will be dedicated to one topic, and that is business strategy. This appears as 6.2 in your syllabus, and the part about business strategy is divided into three segments. First part is called analysis, and there are 8 techniques in it. Some of those are, of course, you will know by now as SWOT, Pastel, Porter's 5 Forces, and Blue Ocean. Then after analysis comes the part about choice. And there are 4 techniques in choice. Investment appraisal, we also see the ANSOS matrix as well as decision trees. And lastly, implementation, which is all about company culture and a corporate plan. Now, this question though, they might ask you about the entire business strategy in what, or each one of these 3 parts could be asked about individually. So make sure you know them very well in good detail. And you answer both questions. There is no choice here. Okay, so that's the 2 papers. That's the new makeup of the exams that you're looking to attempt in this year's June sessions. You have a much easier ride when it comes to paper 3. It's a lot like paper 2 now, so you should be looking to score well in that, and that should give you a little bit of breathing space when it comes to paper 4, because these, I understand, are new topics, but it doesn't make it any more difficult to write. Remember, even at paper 4, for all of this, you have to talk about still the same things that you talk about in paper 3, which is knowledge, application, analysis, evaluation. The process remains the same, only the content changes. I hope now we see through these papers and see that it's not actually as difficult as we are making it out to be. So I hope with this you are better prepared and more confident to attempt more and more past papers and be ready for that exam.